Before I start, I want to say, if you enjoy stories that hit hard, that make your chest tighten and your heart ache, make sure to subscribe to my channel. And don't forget to leave your thoughts and comments. I read every single one, and I want to hear what you think about this one. I walked into Christmas dinner, and the world stopped. My chest tightened, my lungs seemed to forget how to work, and for a second, I couldn't even think. There she was, my wife, laughing, leaning into a man I didn't recognize, her lips pressed against his. I froze. The clatter of silverware, the soft murmur of holiday chatter, the scent of roasted turkey, all of it faded into a blur of disbelief. I should have seen it coming. Maybe I was just too naive, or maybe I didn't want to see the signs. Over the past few weeks, she'd been distant, distracted. Calls I made went unanswered. Texts that seemed innocent at first. Running late at work. Just grabbing coffee with an old friend. Later felt like cracks in a wall I had trusted was solid. I told myself I was imagining things. I even blamed myself, thinking I wasn't enough, that I had somehow failed her without knowing how. A few days before Christmas, I found my phone buzzing while I was in the garage. Her name flashed across the screen, but it wasn't her. It was a message from someone else. Can't wait to see you tonight. I stared at it, my hands trembling, my heart hammering, but I deleted it, thinking maybe it was nothing, thinking maybe I was paranoid. But now, standing in the doorway, that nothing hit me like a fist. They were laughing, whispering, the kind of intimacy that doesn't need explanation. My chest burned as I tried to process what I was seeing. Her eyes met mine for a fleeting second, and I saw a guilt flash, just a shadow, before she smiled at him again. My stomach turned. I wanted to scream, to run, to disappear into the night, but my feet wouldn't move. I remembered all the small things that had fell off. The texts she hid, the nights she claimed were spent at work, but smelled faintly of cologne that wasn't mine, the way her hand hesitated when I reached for it. I brushed them off. I wanted to believe in us. I needed to believe. I stepped closer, trying to tell myself I was overreacting, but the proof was in front of me, undeniable. The warmth of the room didn't reach me. The laughter felt like knives. I could hear my own heartbeat in my ears. And then she turned to me, her face a mixture of guilt and defiance, and I realized that confrontation was inevitable. We, she stammered, trying to pull away from him, but her hand lingered on his arm. Who is he? My voice sounded small, strangled, almost foreign to my own ears. He's just a friend, she said too quickly, her eyes darting, avoiding mine. A friend. I laughed bitterly, a sound I didn't recognize. At Christmas dinner? With your lips on him? The man stepped back, awkward, realizing he had stumbled into something he didn't belong in. She looked at me, pleading, as if my forgiveness could be bought with empty words and forced smiles. I felt my love clash violently with my rage. Every memory, the holidays we had spent decorating, the quiet mornings sipping coffee together, the nights we whispered secrets under the blankets, now stung like lies. She tried to explain, to justify, to soften the blow. I didn't mean for you to find out like this. Her voice faltered. I couldn't hear the rest. My mind was a storm, a mix of heartbreak and clarity. I realized painfully that the woman I loved was someone I didn't know anymore. I walked out of that room, past the stunned faces of family, past a murmur of questions and whispers. I didn't cry, not yet. I couldn't. My heart was too heavy, too raw, too full of disbelief. I went outside, the cold night air biting at my cheeks, and I let myself feel everything I'd held back. The betrayal, the sorrow, the anger, the exhaustion of loving someone who had quietly chosen someone else. I didn't speak to her for days. I thought about what I had lost, yes, but also what I deserved. I realized forgiveness didn't have to mean returning. Love didn't have to mean staying blind. There's a quiet power in choosing yourself, even when your heart wants to crumble. Eventually, we had our conversation. Honest, painful, necessary. She admitted everything, apologized, tried to explain. I listened, not because I needed her explanations, but because I needed closure. I needed to understand, to mark the boundary where my life ended with her and where mine would continue alone. The hardest part wasn't betrayal itself. It was a recognition that I had loved deeply, that I had trusted, that I had been open, and that openness had been exploited. But in that recognition, I found strength. I promised myself that the next time I gave my heart, it would be to someone who chose me wholly, without secrecy, without lies. That Christmas, the tree still glowed. The turkey still sat untouched in the kitchen, but I didn't need the noise, the clatter, or the forced cheer. I had reclaimed my peace, even if it was just a first step. And as I walked away, I felt something fragile but real. The knowledge that I could survive this, that I could rebuild, that I could love again, honestly, without betrayal, without masks. If you've ever been betrayed or had to walk away from someone you loved, share your story in the comments. I want to hear your thoughts. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe, because stories like this, raw and real, remind us we're not alone in our heartbreak.